Greetings, humans. My name is Jordan Lewis. I will be your host. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the ReEvolve Media Revolution podcast featuring Dibbs. Growing up, I remember doing my best to fit in and exist within the expectations that were set out for me. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the linear path that all humans are supposed to exist on from birth till death. You know, go to school, get a job, buy a house, start a family, rinse and repeat with the new DNA that runs through your kids as they go through the same cycle until the dark void swallows us all. Seems to me, as of late, that we as a species are actually starting to be more comfortable with alternatives to that traditional cycle. We're learning that you don't need to go to school to be incredibly successful. You don't need to invest your entire life into affording a house that you mainly use to sleep and shit in peace. We've also learned that starting a family is just as optional as continuing to participate in one. All these concepts that are completely against the grain of how I was raised, but seem so obvious when I just stop to think about them instead of regurgitating the shit that I've been fed my whole life. People have unique needs. There's absolutely no way to meet the needs of a group when we use labels to define how we should and shouldn't act. That's just insane. This rewiring of the brain is why we're suffering right now, though. It's all kind of growing pains, if you will. My man Dibbs here is representing that struggle for the blue collar homies of the world. All right, I'm here with Ryan. He goes by the name of Dibbs. How you doing, brother?
Doing great, man. How about you?
I'm doing great, homie. So listen, you started releasing music roughly last year, middle of the year, eh? Calgary, Alberta?
Yeah, I actually started taking it more seriously last year. It was about June or July. Prior to that, it was, the old school me sitting in my room doing a couple raps using my real name.
Yeah, for sure. But you did that for like 20 years-ish, right?
Yeah, it was always little things like with no video back in the day in high school, at parties doing raps, funny raps. That was always what it was about. But I never actually put an actual video or a song together until I was probably 17 in Northern Ontario. With
Okay.
yeah, my brother had a little studio, just enough to get by, crappy little mic and like the free version of Pro Tools back then, right? So
Yeah.
I probably have a CD floating around out there if someone has it. I mean, you got to send me a copy of that.
Interesting. So you don't have any copies yourself, and neither does your bro?
No, no, unfortunately. I think he might have a couple on his laptop, but the
If the
actual
laptop still
full
exists?
CD, yeah, but the actual CD, I have no idea who has it still.
That's crazy, man. Well, I hope someone tunes into this and and fesses up, and we can get a copy. That'd be dope to actually promo some of your super old stuff.
Yeah, it would be hard to promote though because it's probably not very good. But
I don't mean promote as in like show it off. I mean just like if anyone's
oh
curious.
yeah, look at this. This is what I used to do. Way
This is yeah, exactly. This is his roots, man. This is exactly where he started.
exactly.
I don't know. Some people are pretty like down on their original like old stuff, man. They delete that shit and they don't want anyone to hear it ever again. So
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. You got to start from somewhere, right? Like I find those interesting. Like I'm a huge fan of Mac Miller, and when I see those old school videos of him rapping on the bus, as a teen, like that's super cool to me.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that, man. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Did you get some of your inspiration from Mac Miller? Is he one of your top guys?
Not quite. I was into it way earlier than that. It was definitely I can't remember how old I was, but I have two older brothers, and I remember my brother came into my room because I used to have this terrible little ghetto blaster, and my parents would only give me like the Much Music hits, CDs because I was so young.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
brother,
yeah. I remember
yeah.
those.
So my brother came into my room and gave me three CDs. It was Kid Rock, American Badass, Limp Bizkit. I can't remember what album, but it was probably the Chocolate Starfish hot dog flavored water one, and
Yeah.
the Eminem Show. And he was just like, "Don't tell your mom." So it was that at that moment, Eminem and Limp Bizkit and Kid Rock. For music, for me, those were my first three ever.
And do you find that influences a lot of your music today, or do you think you've kind of worked on it so much that your style is kind of your own at this point?
I definitely have my own style, but there's definitely a lot of influence from that. Like even my when I'm in the studio, people are saying like, "Oh man, that's some Fred Durst shit right there," and I'm just like, "No,
Hey,
for real."
I feel you, homie. I actually picked up one vibe, but it's actually from one of your tracks you released last year, Fears. I don't know if you've ever been told this before, but I got a Russ vibe as soon as the song started, and then kind of a little bit in the middle of it, there were some elements as well. But
Yeah, Russ. Yeah, for sure. Big fan of Russ as well.
big fan of Russ. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that guy as well, man. I gotta talk about your music more though. Your music actually, I'm impressed at the quality, man. It's got a vibe to it that I can only really describe as like cinematic. What's that all about? Like, how'd you go? Is that like an intentional thing, or like is it just kind of coincidence?
I think it just has a lot to do with my writing process. So most people will probably write something like I'm not sure what most people do. Everyone kind of has their own process, but
Yeah,
for me, I thumb through beats until I'm inspired. And my thing is literally if the first 5 seconds of the song hasn't caught me, I'm next. You know, like I'm sorry to all those producers that probably some of those songs were really good, but that was just my process. If it didn't catch me quick enough, I was just like, okay, on to the next. When I write, it's usually freestyle, write it down, and then use that as like my base. And then I'll kind of develop the main point and the roots of the song as I go. Like I won't be like, I want to write a song about whatever, smoking weed or growing up or whatever. It kind of just it chooses for me almost. It's a weird thing. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. And then does it also kind of write itself?
Kind of, yeah. Like I have an arsenal of little bars that I write down, and I keep notes of a bunch of stuff. So if I am ever stuck, I'll go to that and then bounce back and forth. So I'm never really stuck, or I never really get writer's block or anything like that.
That's dope, man. Speaking of bouncing back and forth, I'm gonna go to your latest track, Best Friends, and I feel like that track actually exemplifies a couple of bars that you might have been holding on to for a while, but you were waiting for the right track to drop them.
100%. That
100%.
song's old. That's new because I wrote it recent, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
there's a lot of something that is from a long time ago that I just didn't have the skill and the capability to quite execute it then.
yeah,
But that song I think is one of my favorite now. It's different than all my other stuff. My other stuff's really hard,
yeah. I
and that's
agree.
a really, really like radio friendly song for sure.
Maybe we'll actually just dive into it a little bit. I wanted to bring up two of your lines that I feel like you probably were holding on to for a while that popped out to me. But you were talking about God's gift for everything that God took away.
Yeah, God's gift for everything that God took from me.
Yeah, let's talk about your baby girl, man.
Yeah, that was definitely a new bar that I wrote in there, but that was
It was new.
yeah, that was
Oh
the new
wait,
one.
I guess no shit, eh?
Yeah,
How
because
how how old's your daughter, if you don't mind me asking?
yeah, so she turned 3 in January, so
Okay.
definitely I'm sure a lot of parents can agree that have been in hard places that do have kids now, like, she saved my life for sure. So that was probably my deepest line in that song was that part, and
That part, yeah.
we've talked to some film artists and even your guy you showed me some videos, so I want to be able to execute a video and actually have her in the video at some point, kind of like God's gift for everything that God took from me, because I also say before that little girl looking up to me, so I want like
Yeah.
a video of her like looking up and I'm like, oh my god, holy crap, like I'm an adult now and I'm a dad, like with the dollars is crazy, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna guess since you've released the track that you've got some intentions or at least a plan for the video release. Is that
I do, yeah, 100%. I'm
yeah?
just trying to
That
find the right person to execute it because it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be one of those ones where I'm gonna be super picky, like going through it. And my other track, Underground Upper Class, we were just having fun. It was just whatever, having fun. But this one, literally, I want to paint a memory, right?
that's awesome, man. Yeah, I feel you. I love that too. That's so dope. So is that kind of your big project that is what you're working on up next, or are you kind of working on multiple things simultaneously right now?
I'm kind of juggling everything right now because for a lot of people, I'm sure like my main fans definitely know because they follow my life. But I'm a blue collar guy. I work like not the 8 hours. I work the 12 hours sometimes.
My man.
Sometimes 20 days straight. So I do that, and then I also do the dad, and then then music, obviously. I juggle in between all that. So I'm kind of just trying to keep music coming out. And I don't want to stop all music just so I can focus on the video. So I'm just kind of waiting for the timing to be right.
That's dope, man. I love that. So you're just a full-time kind of always on type dude, eh?
Yeah, just always going, always doing something.
Yeah. Back to your blue collar though. You released the track I think it's last year as well. Or actually I don't know if it's last year, but it's not on your Spotify. It's only on SoundCloud. It's called Blue Collar.
Yeah, so that was the beginning of me not knowing anything or like knowing how to actually put music out and distribute it. So I
Yeah.
didn't own the beat, and the production was done by me and my brother in
No
the
way.
littlest studio ever. So the quality wasn't there like it is now for me. So I'm probably gonna remaster that one. That'll be one of those ones that I do professionally and actually do it up legit.
And like re-record the vocals and everything or
Yeah, exactly. I'll re-record it, do it better because that song is probably hard to tell, but that song I actually did from start to finish in one take.
and you didn't chop up the vocals or anything.
No,
You just like
no, like I didn't do a verse and then stop and then keep doing the verse till I got it and then do a
oh,
chorus.
I
Like I
feel you.
literally just went start to finish without like messing it up. Like that's how I thought it had to be done then, right? So I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, I get halfway through the song. Oh, I messed up. Restart.
That's hilarious, man. I definitely feel you on that. And so you were doing this at the time with your bro?
Yeah, we were at his house and he had a little room that we put together for our studio and yeah, just
Is he an artist
home.
as well?
No, he's just a huge supporter for my music and he's more technically advanced than I am for sure. Like I struggled getting this audio thing ready.
Fair, okay. Like this for the recording?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah, like
hilarious,
I
man.
manage my social media and like distributing my music because it's all
Yeah.
fairly simple. Like I can do that pretty easy. But when it comes to recording, mixing, mastering, and all those plugins and everything, I have no idea. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Fair, man. Do you have any interest in learning it, or you're probably pretty comfortable with handling your end of the business because you're already as busy as can be, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would be a skill that I would like to have for sure. Because, the hopes is always to be fully self sufficient, right? And not, like I say, I don't have to work anymore and I can kind of free up that time. Having that skill would be great because I could put out music whenever I want. I'm not in anyone else's hands, when it comes to booking studio time or doing things a certain way, right? But
Yeah,
that's a skill that it takes a lot of time to achieve.
for sure, man. You probably even longer when you're working 12-hour days and being a full-time father as well.
100%. Yeah, like even making beats and all that comes together. Like when I like any of my songs, I'm only half of the skill and talent involved in there. Like my engineer, Cheddar Cheese, Shay Michaels, he's the guy behind all the mixing and mastering, and he definitely brings my vision to life.
That's word though. That's word though.
He's
Yeah,
a whiz. He's a whiz for sure.
he's a wizard. I agree. Going back to your blue collar track, was that originally put out last year, or was that well before that?
If I'm not mistaken, that was the first song I ever actually put out. So it hadn't. There's nothing that came out on an actual distribution company. Like I think I put that song on Amuse. I use DistroKid now because it just works better for me. But Amuse is the only one I knew of then, so I put it out on there and kind of just sat back and was like, all right, see what
Gotcha.
happens. But yeah, no, definitely not one of my more professional tracks. It was me just testing the waters, kind of just
Yeah.
trying to do it. And in that, me doing that song, I ended up meeting Shay and working with him, and that's when it all started. But I'd say my
No
first
way.
my first track I actually did, with doing it professionally and distributing it with taking photos and doing it all up 100%. My first real song I put out was Going Through It.
Going through it. Okay.
Yeah, that was definitely my first song and my first music video as well.
So I do got one track listed before it though. Grew up on. Is that just in my timeline wrong?
Grew Up On is also one of those ones like Blue Collar, where I also did it in our studio professionally. So that was
Gotcha.
another one where I didn't own the beat. So I ended up getting tagged on YouTube I didn't get taken down or in trouble. It was just like, I get no royalties.
Yeah, your
blah
royalties
blah
are going
blah.
somewhere else.
So it's just
Yeah,
there. It's floating around. I'll leave it, but I would like to redo those ones and make them professional because
for sure.
Grew Up On did get a lot of actual movement for it. No promotion. I never put a cent into promoting it because it wasn't mine fully, right? So there's no need to do that.
Fair.
And that song kind of, I would almost say, beats a lot of my other songs naturally, organically.
No way. Like even to this day?
Even to this day, like when I like the Spotify for artists and Apple Music for artists, like those things where you can look at your monthly streams and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
Grew Up On is always in the top four, top five for the month.
That's interesting, man.
Crazy, right? It's just
That's real
you
dope.
never know what the fans are gonna like, man. It doesn't matter how not good it is or good it is. It's just yeah, it's all up to the fans for real.
That's the truth. That's the truth. During this time, you released I think it's seven tracks in total. I was giving them all a listen, and I was talking to my girl right before listening to your track "Remember Me." Do you know what synchronicity is?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Well, literally right before clicking play on this track, I was talking to her about. I was just like how I think society is kind of just like, especially in the last short term or last little while, has just been a bit more depressed and lonely. And then that was like seconds before listening to this track, and then I pressed play, and then that was like the first fucking things that you said, and I don't know.
yeah.
I got shivers. I got shivers, and I had to show her.
Yeah, that song was it was a weird thing for writing for me. That
Tell
song
me about it, man.
still that's still to this day one of my favorite songs. Like Shay asked me too yesterday what my favorite song I ever wrote was, and it was I told him Remember Me. And then, everyone was telling me their favorite songs by me, and I was just like trying to think why Remember Me was my favorite. But I think it's because the day I wrote that, I was talking to somebody that was I won't say any names, but he was really, really depressed, low, kind of suicidal. And I've been there before. So I felt obligated to tell him like how it is and just be there, right? Because that's what I would have wanted. And after our conversation that I had and everything was good, I just got like a spark of inspiration to write something. And that was the only song I ever wrote out like I was talking. I didn't stop and then wrap it back to that point or anything. I just wrote and wrote and wrote until the very end. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'll wrap it. And then I wrapped the whole song beginning to end, and it was just done.
That's dope, man. Did you let your the friend that was associated with the writing know that it was for them, or did they? Do you think they felt it?
Yeah, I told him I was just like our conversation last night, like you motivated me to write. So like obviously I used that into our conversation. I was like, there's stuff to live for, man, for sure. Like you just inspired me.
That's crazy, man. So that was last year, and you're referencing it to even just yesterday.
Yeah, I still think that's one of my for the words alone. Like it's not like my most hype beat or the most popular by any means, but for me, like if people were to click that song with headphones, close their eyes, and just really listen to the words, like non-judgmental, you'd be like, wow, like you could feel it.
You can feel the real soul of the track kind of coming through.
Exactly.
That's dope, man. And so one of your later tracks in the year, then moving on here, was Waves. You did that with Brandon Taylor.
Yeah, so my first feature ever, and I was honored to do a song with him. He was perfect for that track. And I hadn't had a track prior. It wasn't like I was working on Waves and I was like, who would be good, to do this song with? It
Yeah.
was like, I need a feature. I haven't I was just still trying to get recognized in Calgary. Didn't really have a following, and I just like followed him. So I liked his stuff, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll hit him up. And yeah, he was down. I was like, oh, sweet, perfect. So that night, after discussing our feature, I just started writing, sent it to him. He was like, oh, that's perfect. And it was probably like 5-6 days before he had his done, and we were putting it out. Like Brandon Taylor's a beast. If anyone knows Brandon Taylor, he used to release a song every week for like almost a year. Like
Used to.
yeah, like I think he's doing it again, but he kind of stopped for a while because that's a lot. That's hard to do.
Oh, dude, that's a massive turnover.
That's crazy. Like you're constantly making music and putting it out, so it's always ahead, right? You're
Yeah.
trying to keep up, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. So I've got stuff ready to release until October. If I stopped right now, I got stuff till October. So
That's dope, man. So are they kind of scheduled releases or just kind of in the progress?
scheduled. So I'll go on my like DistroKid, and then I'll put the release. So like every 2-3 weeks, kind of space them all out. Especially through the summer, I've been trying to do it every 2 weeks just to keep it rolling.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
And so what's your thought process and intention behind doing that? Getting so ahead of it?
I think just content is what people want to see, and especially for not just for streams and getting on playlists, but for social media, which has a huge impact on the streams and your fan base. So I'm just always, if you keep putting stuff out, I've noticed that it's growing a little faster. I'm starting to get a little bit more engagement, and the algorithm kind of just starts to work in your favor when you keep posting quality stuff, right?
That's the truth, man. And for anybody out there, the apps love it when you keep the people using the apps on the
They
apps. Don't
keep
forget
you
that when you're trying to work the algorithms.
exactly. Use the post a bunch of pictures on your posts so you have that role, so that keeps people there too. Do IGTV, do stories, anything to keep people from, like the link in the bio thing. I used to always say link in bio. Now I don't even. I'll just be like, songs out,
Hey, yeah,
it's out there.
you know
You
where
do
it
what
is.
you want,
Yeah,
because
I feel you.
I feel like I just repeating myself. Sound like a broken record with the link in bio, and the Instagram doesn't like the link in bio. So
That's
whatever.
fair, man.
So I do IGTV. I don't mind losing a little bit of streams to get people to hear it. Whatever.
Yeah, that's dope. All right, so we're gonna take that quick break I told you about.
We're going to listen to a track that Dibbs released pretty recently on July 29th. It's called Chapters.
I don't wanna fight no more. We were right on course. Fell up just a little, I don't write no more. I just talk to the mic, it's been like I'm yours. Like I'm talking to myself when I'm talking to my music. Truth is, this isn't the only thing in my life that I have been abusing. My health declines and multiplies like every single thing that I've been missing. Trying to be up on the rise, don't wanna feel like I can never live when the day comes. It'll take from this life when I die. This isn't something I can make up. Lost to relationships from all the breakups. Feeling like a clown when somebody get the makeup. Something with the self-made. Fuck, do something. Still lost, I should know myself but gave up. I can't remember the feeling of in love. All the pain I'm dealing with too much. I can't help it. Like I'm a snap piss, trying to relax till I smash all the cabinets. I got 'em about to crash through all the bricks. I got my feeling like a bag of shit. So how can I change? I start at the bottom where I hold all the pain. A whole lot of rain when I'm bringing out the truth. I'm stuck in my brain, what the fuck am I doing? Can I walk a path without losing everything I have? Waiting for my shot, I just know I gotta have it. Don't waste any one moment to blow, just go grab it. When will another door open? When is the next chapter? Think I know where I'm going. Gone in the wind like laughter, I've been praying, I know this. About to go ghost like Casper, all I know is where I've been. But today the only thing that matters, body in the basement, head up in the attic. Guess I get complacent, turn into a savage. Forget what I was chasing, knew it wouldn't last. Cause I just thought I would always outlast it. Know everything I do, I try to do right. This shit ain't nothing new, it's all in due time. Put my head down, give 'em my life. Then it felt like the years just flew by. Where'd time go? Can I find a way to forgive? Feel like I heal every time that I spam on my kid. Made me see what I'd accomplished if I'd only commit. It was then I realized every day is a gift. Shit ain't lucky like a 4-leaf clover. Don't say you love me then leave me no closure. I've been doing raps to keep my composure. I just wanna live for this whole thing over. Cause a lot of people feeling like they never did. I don't wanna die like I never lived. We all wanna get the money and the honeys at the crib. But if you're focusing on that, you will never get it. Look at me now. Now I'm thankful. My plate plenty full on my table. Want the fam sitting at a fucking label. Looking at the whole world at a new angle. When will another door open? When is the next chapter? Think I know where I'm going. Gone in the wind like laughter, I've been praying, I know this. About to go ghost like Casper, all I know is where I've been. But today the only thing that matters,
I'm back with Dibbs. What's up, man?
What's going on, bro? Living the dream.
Living the fucking dream. You got it, man. So let's go over your 2020 track record there real quick. The track that actually got me into your music, and I can confidently say it got me into your music because this track hit hard, man. I remember I contacted you personally because I fucked with it. But your track Van Gogh.
Van Gogh, yeah.
Talk Tell me about that, man. It's the production on it's insane, and I'm sure Cheddar Cheese Shea probably mix mastered it too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, when we both, are vibing on something, there's that extra thing that happens where we'll be bouncing back and forth. I'll be like, "Oh, you should do this," and you're like, "Oh yeah," and then if you do this, and then you add that too, and then we're like, "Oh yeah," that's basically sums up how that song went.
So you did it in the same room, like you guys kind of co-produced it then?
Yeah, so I had the lyrics for it. The lyrics were all me. And he heard the beat, and we kind of had the idea of what I was going for, and it just kind of came together.
That's dope, man. Oh, just like kind of over the course of a day?
Yeah, well, it was funny because I wrote the song well prior to him even having any clue of what I was working on. And it was actually up north because I'm a driller for an oil company. They also do like environmental and geotechnical drilling. So I work out of town a lot, and I was up at camp working like a 21-day stretch. And after work, you probably have like an hour and a half of free time, and that's usually spent having dinner and talking to family and getting ready for bed.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as an artist, I can't do that. I'm like always trying to write, always trying to work on stuff. And yeah, this song was basically all written while up north working, drilling, and doing the night shift and all that fun stuff. But when I came back to Calgary, I was flying in. I had already like had the process of booking the studio at this point. And when he heard the song, it was just like, and this is prior to anybody knowing anything about COVID. So everyone was in that vibe of like 2020 is going to be great,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
your
yeah.
2020 vision. Like I wonder how many artists put out 2020 vision as their thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't go that far, but it was basically just a verse where I was mentioning 2020 vision, and that was basically me kicking off the 2020 with Van Gogh. So I had to kick it off with something really good. And yeah, that was the song.
That's dope, man. I love that track a lot. Your track that you released this pretty recently as well. I don't know if there's any of your other 2020 tracks you want to talk about specifically, but I'll just bring this one up. The one you worked on with Todd as well, your other feature in the track list.
In the Sky.
In the Sky, yeah.
Yeah.
How is it working with an artist internationally?
Well, it's definitely different because what we do over here all the time is something that an artist over there is breaking new grounds on because it's not as popular in a sense. There's definitely a
Interesting,
huge
yeah.
fan base over there, numbers wise. But when it comes to popularity, that style of music that we did, like that underground, kind of hard, straight bars, and some singing and auto tune, kind of mix, that's a pretty uncommon thing, I guess, where he is. According to him, is what he was saying, and he's from Denmark.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And how was it? Was it easy to work with someone different time zone and stuff like that?
It was definitely a little weird because I would do a live Instagram, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll come on and we'll do a duet on the
Duet,
IG,"
yeah.
right? So I'm like, "Okay, you want to do it at?" I'm like thinking my time, right? I'm like, "We'll do it at like 7 p.m. I'll probably be home after work by then." And he's just like, "Oh yeah, what time is that for me?" And it was like 4 a.m. or something like that. Like, oh shit, okay. He's like, I might be up. And
I might be up.
sure shit, he was up and he came on to the IG. It was funny.
No way. Did he stay up or did he just like wake up from a sleep and just join you or
Oh,
what?
it was like dark and it looked like he was really tired. Yeah.
Poor guy, man. That's
But he's
hilarious.
definitely a trooper, pretty cool guy. But it
Yeah.
was. I hope the fans really like it. It is different. Like if anyone's ever listened to UK rap, even really famous artists, it is different. But I really love it. Like I love the like the tone and the language, especially in like metal. Because I like metal and like harder stuff too. That's kind of where I get a lot of my inspiration as well. Like I said earlier, I grew up with Limp Bizkit, Kid Rock, and metal. Even old school metal. Like my dad was really into Ozzy and Motley Crue, and so I was just constantly inspired by music.
That's dope, man. And so you were just instantly down to do this type of track then, eh?
Yeah, 100%. Like, don't even care. Like, he's not that big at all. I don't even care. Like, if you send me something and I'm vibing with it, I'm down doing it.
Oh, that's wise, man. And I think you told me before that you were kind of particularly impressed with your verse as well, eh?
Like he was.
No, I think you said you went hard on it.
Oh yeah, I Well, especially for going to an audience that's never heard me,
Yeah.
because he's on the other side of the world. So I figured I had to give it everything I had, you know? So
That's
that one in
interesting.
particular. And when he told me, like when he sent me the song and I seen the space that I had to fill, because he sent me it with his verse on it and then the chorus at the end. So I was like, oh shit. I got like a 60 bar if I go double time, or like 100 and something bar if I do it like just straight bars. Like, yeah, either way, this is gonna be difficult. So I just went on it, wrote it, and when I recorded it and sent it to him, he's just like, "Yo, man, that is insane!" Like, holy shit! He's like, "I'm gonna have to go back and edit a couple things."
That's dope, man.
Yeah, he was super cool
That's
guy.
crazy. How did he hunt you down?
Just through the powers of Instagram, man. Just the beauty of Instagram. I think I somehow ended up on his feed or his Discover or something, and we followed each other, and I liked what he was doing, and I just went from there.
That's sick, man. What would it be like if that track started to blow up across the planet there?
Oh man, I'd be pumped. I honestly have as big of a fan base, across the pond as I do here.
That's dope. That's
Like,
interesting.
for stream wise, because it'll show you like the top cities and stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And like Germany, Europe, that area, I got quite a lot of people that listen to my music.
Interesting, man.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
dope to know. Yeah.
I had no idea.
That's crazy. It's so sick how it shows you all those demographics, sorry, and all the other analytics, though, eh?
Yeah, like I can show you right now for this month, the last 28 days.
Let's get it.
The top three are obviously Canada, United States, and then Germany, third and close to United States and Germany are like almost head and head. And then Netherlands, Italy, United Kingdom, Austria, so on and so forth. But obviously Canada is my top one, right? Because local and just promoting and people that right, as well.
That's awesome. And so while you've got that in front of you, actually, I don't want to hear exact figures, but give me the comparison from what it was like 1 month ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, and a year ago, because I'm sure you kept up with that pretty closely.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not even hard to keep track of all that because it's all right here at your fingertips. It basically keeps track of everything for you. So if I'll start off by like the song that beats the other song is like every month and kind of the ones that just thrive, right? So Van Gogh is number one. It's kind of always been number one since February.
Okay.
So that one's definitely the top one going through.
Yeah.
Going through.
Is that the ones that the Germans dig the most?
I'm not sure actually. It's a good question. So Canada and United States are the top ones. That song.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. All right.
Going through it second, and this is like almost every month too. And I've noticed the Spotify algorithm kind of goes up a little bit after a while too.
Interesting.
And then Remember Me for third.
That's
So,
dope,
yeah,
man.
and I would agree with those statistics personally as like a songwriter that like has favorite songs too, just like the fans, right? The Van Gogh,
Yeah.
Going Through It, and Remember Me are probably my top ones. But the new ones too, like there's a couple new ones that I'm kind of switching it up and coming into my own, like all in my head. Like that's totally different than what I usually do. Even Best Friends is totally different than what I usually do.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up Best Friends again. Is there any other track that you want to talk about actually between your most recent release and your earliest release this year?
Well, I should talk about Underground Upper Class because that was the
Let's
second
get it.
music video that I ever did as well, other than Going Through It. And that one is another one that's kind of organically been growing to its own thing. It's like this period, it's up 10.7% worldwide.
Crazy.
So it's and naturally too, like I don't really like, I know I do promote sometimes because it's good to push it, but as an artist it hurts when you're like, okay, I'm gonna spend all this money on studio, on beats, on production, and now that I spent all that money I'm gonna pay for people to listen to it. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. I get the importance of promoting your stuff. It is something you should do, and I do it. But for a lot of my songs, I don't, because I'm like just gonna let it do its thing organically. Because it's more interesting to me to see it grow organically than it is to throw money at it, right?
For sure.
It makes sense. Like if you see people on YouTube, it's got like 150,000 or 150,000 views, but it's got like less than 50 likes and like no comments. You're like, okay, well, this is obviously all just promo.
I feel you. Promo is getting easier and easier to identify these days.
Definitely.
How do you feel about that, though? And I'm talking about the overwhelmingly obviously like fake, and I don't know, trying to flex off those fake numbers too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get the importance of it, but I think if you're gonna do it and then also brag about your numbers, that's when it's a problem. But if you're just like doing it, you're getting your numbers because you're trying to push your music out. I respect you. Like you got the money to do it and you have that much passion, do it for sure. Because eventually it will pay off, right? It's an investment. It's not like you
That's true.
better than spending all your money on fucking drugs or whatever thing that's not gonna benefit you in the future.
I never thought about it that way.
Exactly. So it's good. It's good. It's a good thing for even kids coming up. They want to make music, man. Promote it 100%.
Straight up, dude. Instead of doing drugs and stupid shit, just fucking spend your money on promoting your music. That's brilliant, man. It's like the lesser of two evils.
There you go. Like even like that can be used in any sense. Like it doesn't have to be music. It can be cars or dirt bikes or
For
whatever
sure,
it
man.
is.
That's crazy. I have never thought about it that way.
Yeah, man. But yeah, getting back to underground upper class, I think I don't know. It was something about. I definitely went the whole G route on that song. All that song was about was I want people to play this while like partying or you know, not actually thinking about so much of the words. I just wanted it to be a fun song because
Yeah.
going through it was a really serious, straight bars, me trying to make a presence because it was my first real release, right? So that's why that song's so fast because I had to prove skill. At least I felt like I had to prove skill. I didn't want to come out with something that was. I wouldn't say nonsense. That's not the word, but like kind of like no one's really gonna care about the words, if that makes sense. It's just a
Fair.
banger and people could listen to. But after I did going through it, I figured, well, I might as well do a song like that because those are pretty popular too. The ones that people just listen to because it's got a sick 808 and like a catchy chorus, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that is the pinnacle of underground upper class, and that's why I did a music video with it too. I got a really good looking girl. Shout out to Jordan. She's a pretty cool girl. We ended up being friends on Instagram after. Really professional. Like it was a really good experience. Like my film guy too was crazy. If you haven't seen that music video, go check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a dope music video, man. How'd you get the ball rolling for that one?
So Mac Tabalis, he's my film guy, and he's crazy. He's so good. And as soon as we were kind of thumbing through songs because I wanted to do a music video, we came over and I played 3 or 4 songs that I just recorded, and he was like, oh, and it's funny because Van Gogh was one of those songs. We almost did a music video to Van Gogh.
No way.
But I figured I would wait because the video I wanted to do for Van Gogh, which I'll explain after, was a little hard to do at the time. So Underground was the song that we decided to do. And right away we were like, okay, well, we need a good looking girl in this song for sure. we need I went to the bank and took like $2,000 out just to like have like a little bit of money. I just did everything that you would
That's
normally find in
badass.
those songs. But I don't preach it as like that's me, I'm that guy.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's like I'm just doing this because this is exactly what people want to see. And I say that right in the beginning of the song. This is what y'all want to hear. The drugs and the gums and the tears. Like I literally say that.
Hey, yeah, that's dope, man. We need to give that song some more recognition for sure.
For sure. Well, that's another thing behind like what the meaning of the song is to me and what the meaning of the song is to the fan. Their take versus my take.
And then everybody in between.
Exactly.
That's sick, man. And so let's move on to your most recent release, Best Friends. You just put that out. It's today, right? July 18th.
Yeah, it just came out today at midnight.
This podcast will obviously come out a bit in the future, but let's you might have a release between then and now, but let's talk about it, man. We already went through a couple of lyrics. I got one I wanted to talk about, but is there another one that you, or anything else about the track that you kind of been holding on to, waiting to say, that you kind of just want to bring more attention to, or?
I have one, and it would be, I think mostly because I am attained to the blue collar, lifestyle. And that's basically the audience that I want to reach out to everyone, obviously, but everyone has their main audience, and that would be the working class, the people that went to school and got like in a trade, or, they're doing the 9 to 5 or even the 12 hours like me, So One of the lyrics is, I think it's in, I want to know, I can't remember if it's the first verse or the second verse, but I say, never went to college.
Dude, I have that. No college, straight to work. I
Yeah.
was gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
That's the other lyric I was gonna say.
So yeah, that was probably the biggest one for me. Just like, because a lot of people can relate to that. Like, just, never was a scholar, never was good in school, and then I was like, oh well, I got to do the blue collar thing, and it worked out for me, and that actually kind of surpassed a lot of people that went to school. So for people that feel discouraged, school isn't for everyone. Like, if you can stay in school and get a good career, do it for sure. Like, sometimes I'm like, I wish I would have went to school, but it also worked out for me really well with the working class route.
For sure, man. Want to dive a little bit more into it is what you do in the blue collar industry?
Yeah, so when I first saw, I'll give them a whole recap of basically how it came to be. So
Fuck
I
yeah,
grew
let's
up
do
in
it.
a small town, Temiskaming Shores, Ontario. It's kind of northern Ontario. So I went to school there. Kind of it was a good place growing up, but then as like time progressed, it became like one of those towns where I knew I wasn't really gonna go anywhere. No disrespect to the town, like I miss it for sure, but it was mostly just the people and how it was coming to be. So I knew I had to do something different. And it was June of 2012, I got an opportunity to come fly out to Alberta, Calgary, Alberta specifically, to work on the expansion for the airport. So like mixing concrete. And I jumped on it. So I took the job, flew out here with my older brother because he's the one that kind of got me the job.
Yeah, so you just did that as an out from
Yeah.
your hometown.
I was like,
Gotcha.
gonna make something of myself here. And yeah, I ended up, it was only supposed to be like a 3-year project. When it was done, they went back to Ontario and I didn't. I was like, this place is great. I fell in love with Calgary. Been here for almost, I guess about just over 8 years now.
Holy shit! Yeah, that's a long run, man.
Yeah.
This is your home now.
It's my home for sure. My parents are always like, man, it's crazy. You went out to do this project and you just never came back.
Yeah,
So
that's
I go visit obviously all the time, and I
no doubt,
bring
no
my
doubt.
daughter to see them and everything. But yeah, this is definitely my home now. Basically, what I was getting to is, I came out here and did the blue collar route, and those are the people that I want to I want to focus on those people because I feel like I relate with that so much, and it'll help me with my writing. Because it's no thing to write about something you know about, right?
For sure. And so for 8 years, you've obviously probably learned a lot of things. What do you think you'd want to stress? Like something that you know now that you didn't know then?
I will say like perseverance has been the one thing in my life that's always pushed me forward. I can relate with all the people that'll go to work and they'll contemplate quitting all the time. I get it. I say that shit in my head all the time. But if you, like Eminem said, if you laugh in the face of adversity, it's just you're always gonna persevere. You're always gonna come up on top. A lot of people that knew me back in the day wouldn't recognize me now because it's just a totally different lifestyle. It took 8 years. It took 8 years for me to move out here, invest, buy a house, be comfortable, financially, and persevere something, and also motivate me to do my music and do it up 100% for the fans. Do it up the right way. So I think if you got a hobby, whatever it is, and you feel stuck because you're doing the 9 to 5 or you're working the blue collar job, like just stick in there, keep doing what you love, and you'll get there 100%. I don't care what anybody says.
I dig that, man. Dig that a lot. Those are some wise words. Wouldn't it be kind of bittersweet though? I'm gonna assume that you definitely want to make music your full time. You want to swap the amount of hours you're putting into each role. Probably bring your blue collar down to 0. Might that be true?
Yes, and I've also talked about that to friends, and I've thought about it a lot, like how I would do that. But I think people would just really understand, this is what I really want to do. But I'll never forget where I came from and how I came up, and I'll never be the person to grow up and then make a song about dissing the people that work hard. That'll never be my thing.
For real, man. I feel you. So it almost sounds like you kind of have a strategy when certain things start lining up.
Well, you kind of have to have some sort of strategy. I'm mostly just going with the flow. go when it comes to, you know, writing and meeting new people and collaborating, whatever else comes with music. But I think the biggest part about it is just knowing yourself and how you want to come across to people at like the end of the day. For me, I think just being genuine, you know, even when I'm like releasing a song, I feel like, and it happens a lot for me, I feel like I'm about to release a song and I'll be doubting it, and then I'll release the song and then it'll get like, people love it. I'm like, it's all in my head. What am I thinking? Just release it.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And so is that kind of the basis about what All in My Head is?
Yeah, All in My Head is, I think it might be a little deeper than that, personally.
No doubt.
But it can be used for that as well. I think All in My Head is more along the lines of me doubting my music.
Fair. Okay, that was the main vibe that I was getting as well.
Doubting my music, and like, even though when people say you're good and you're like, nah, you know.
Yeah, that's that imposter syndrome.
Exactly. But you know what? I will say this. That isn't a bad thing, because you'll always thrive. You'll always push yourself. So it isn't always a bad thing, but don't let it stop you from putting it out and doing it.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think maybe that takes a type of person, because I'm sure like a lot of people use it as the fire to motivate them. And I don't know if it is a person type, and if you can like change that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, and I say it a lot in almost every song. It seems like I'm repeating myself, but I talk a lot about fears. Hence the song I put out, Fears. But
the title,
if you
Fears.
listen to all my music, I mention fears quite a bit. Kind of like if you know Mercules, he talks about anxiety a lot, and he kind of gets frack for it because fans are like, "Oh, you're always talking about it." But that means that's that one thing that he's either it's always motivating him, or that's the one thing he's always trying to defeat. Right. And for me, it was fear. It was always doubt and fear of what people are going to think, and fear that I won't succeed. It was always, that was the one thing that felt like it was crippling, but it ended up being the thing that motivated me.
That's awesome, man. That's crazy. You're kind of like the Batman then.
The Batman. Yeah, man.
So other than music and stuff, and your 12 hours a day, 21 days, you said?
Yeah, sometimes. Like, I also work in town. Like right now I was working night shift for a week, home every night. So it kind of sometimes I benefit, and then sometimes I'm working out of town. But it's an adventure. It's always something different.
No doubt, man. Yeah. So other than that stuff, what other projects have you been a part of, or been able to be a part of, even non-musically related?
Well, and nothing really stands out huge for, you know, opportunities wise, like blue collar, like my blue collar lifestyle. It's mostly just like opportunities for work. But when it comes to music, you know, just reaching out to people. I've been denied, you know, some artists as well, but I took my shot. I'm just not quite there. But there's another artist that's potential, you know, not 100%, but Easy Mac could potentially be a song in the future that we might see. I have a song and it's written and done, and he's heard the beat. So yeah, that might happen.
That's dope, man. That's exciting. Listen, we're going a little bit into overtime here, so we're going to kind of wrap it up. Is there anything you want to kind of say or mention to the audience, whatever, or maybe even drop some tips and tricks? Sorry.
No, not a whole lot. Just I'm gonna keep the summer release radar going. I've been posting that a lot. It's just a thing reminder that I'm gonna be posting every 2 to 3 weeks of new music. So I'm gonna keep that rolling, hopefully into the new year. So yeah, keep following and listening to music, and you know, love and create.
Perfect. All right, man. Thank you so much again for coming and joining us here. That's Dibbs, everybody. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome, brother. All right, take care, man.
You too.
If you want to learn a little bit more about Dibbs, head on down to our website at www.reevolvemedia.com/Dibbs. That's DIBBS. And so Dibbs gave us a little sneak peek of a track that's coming out on September 18th. That track is titled Jump.
I'm enjoying my motherfucking life, that's all I'm saying. I advise you to do the same. Do shit that make you happy.
Yeah. Chops banging out the coupe, trunk so loud the about to call a woo. Not too much talking when we pull out a bazooka. Make your whole damn clique call a truce, ayy. I think it's time we get fucked up, lover for the night, call a punch drunk. Yeah, bringing beef to your sight like a lunch truck. Chops to the back of the head, that's a death touch, yeah. There ain't much to brag about, numbers stress me out till they're in my bank account. Never had shit, bitches looking at me now. Gunners on the block, we don't do this for the cloud, no. I'm on no roll, whole squad coming when I get up on the road. Book is for an opener, I take over the sure. Pouring my heart up on stage, it's a goal. You should know that I never let my fans down. Killing every beat I get up on and let a fan out. See me on the other side before you see me man down. Used to be a hater, I can see that you a fan now. Ooh, you got the juice, I got the truth. You stuck in a place, I'm making the moves, paying my dues, living the muse. Want it, I got it, and you just peruse.